The interquartile range, or IQR, sometimes referred to as the middle 50%, is the difference in value of the upper quartile and the lower quartile. An outlier is a data point that is significantly larger or significantly smaller than the rest of the data in the dataset. To be an outlier, the data point must be positioned at least 1.5 interquartile ranges below the lower quartile or above the upper quartile. So here we have our IQR, which is this distance here, and in order to be an outlier, it has to be at least this far away from the rest of the data. So this would be an outlier here, and here we have 1.5 IQR is out to here, so an outlier would be over here, or it could be here, or anywhere past this point. The lower extreme and the upper extreme are determined after removing outliers. In the diagram, the extremes are within 1.5 IQRs of the lower quartile and upper quartile respectively. The range is the difference between the upper extreme and the lower extreme values. So you can see that we don't include these points here or here when we're making our box and whisker plot. Find the interquartile range for the data set below. Alright, so what we do is first find the median, and we can see that the middle number here is 9, and then we need to find the median of the left side and the median of the right side. So the median here would be the average between 3 and 5, which is 4, and the median over here would be the average of 15 and 17, which is 16. So then to find the IQR, the interquartile range, you just take 16 minus 4, and that gives you the IQR of 12. Once we draw the box and whisker plot here, we can see that this point is an outlier, this 43. But the way we determine that is just by calculating 1.5 of the IQR. So 12 times 1.5 is 18. So if we add 18 to our upper quartile of 16, we get a limit of 34. So any value over 34 here would be an outlier. Here we have the IQR also of 12, and then we multiply that by 1.5. We get our lower limit of negative 14. But none of these numbers fall below negative 14. So there's only the one outlier, this 43 there. Create a box and whisker plot for the data set below. Identify any outliers. Alright, so we have to find the median. To do that, we'll work from the edges in. So we have not that one, not that one. Alright, so we have our median of 52. Draw that nicer. 52. Now we have to find the median here, and there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we see our lower quartile is 48, and our upper quartile is 56. So we have our lower extreme of 46 and our upper extreme of 79. However, look, this 79 is an outlier, so our upper extreme instead will become 57. The way we calculate that is as follows. So our median was 52, our upper quartile is 56, our lower quartile is 48, therefore our IQR here was 8. 8 times 1.5 gives us 12. So if we count 12 from here, so 55, 65, so around here we have 68 is our upper limit. And we see that 79 is above that. Our lower limit would be 48 minus 12. So that would give us 36, which is like around here somewhere. And we see that none of our points fall below that. So our only outlier is 79 right there. Try this. All right, so let's get started. The lower extreme right now is 26. Unless we determine that these are outliers, but for now, let's just pick the lowest and the highest value. We have 73 as our upper extreme. What's our median? So let's go working towards the middle. All right, 44 is our median. So let me erase all these marks. All right, and I'll circle our median again, 44. And now we need the lower quartile, so that's the median of the first half. So we'll do this again. $38. And I'll once again erase the marks. 38 is our lower quartile. Our upper quartile will do the same process. $56. So clean this up again. All right, so we have 56. So if we draw these out, here's our box and whisker plot. Let's just verify that these are not outliers. So we have an IQR of 56 minus 38, and that's 18. IQR equals 18. So 1.5 IQR equals 27, because 18 times 1.5 gives us 27. So 56 plus 27 gives us 83. So 83 would be our upper limit, and we see that 73 is not past that point, so this is not an outlier. Then we take our 38, subtract our 27, and we get 11. So our lower limit is here, and so this 26 is well within the limits as well. So we have no outliers here. Try this. All right, so let's first calculate our median. Working from the outside to the inside. We're going to have to average 144 and 145 to give us 144.5. And I will now delete all these lines, clean it up a bit. But I will draw a line here to show us where the middle is. We want now the median of the lower half. We will average together 132 and 134 to give us 133. And we will do the same thing for the upper half. We will average together 153 and 154 to give us 153.5. All right, so now we can calculate our IQR, which is 153.5 minus 133. That gives us 20.5. When we multiply this by 1.5, we get limits of 30.75. So if we have our upper quartile at 153 around here, our upper limit is going to be like way that way. So, and then our lower limit is at, well, lower quartile is at 133 around here, and the lower limit is going to be 102, which is way over here. So we're not going to have any outliers here. We draw our box and whisker plot. We have our median at 144.5. We have our upper extreme, which is 155, which is in the limits because the upper limit is 184. Our lower limit is 102. And we have our lower extreme, which is 107, and that is above 102, which is our lower limit. So there are no outliers here. Does the data set have any outliers? If so, which numbers? All right, so we can see here that our median is 18. Our lower quartile is going to be the average between 1 and 13, which is 7. And our upper quartile will be the average of 22 and 25, which is 23.5. So if we find our IQR, that's 23.5 minus 7, and that gives us an IQR of 16.5. 1.5 times 16.5 is 24.75. So our lower limit is going to be 7 minus 24.75, which is negative 21.75. So that's like way over here is our lower limit. And so 1 is within the limits of being in the data set and not an outlier. So there's not an outlier over here. Our upper limit is going to be 23.5 plus 24.75. That equals 48.25, which is way over here. And we see that 25 is the upper extreme here, which is not an outlier. So there are no outliers here. Does the dataset have any outliers? If so, which numbers? All right, our median here is going to be 74. Our lower quartile is 52, and our upper quartile is 83. So our IQR equals 83 minus 52, which is 31. 1.5 of the IQR there is going to be 46.5. So if we take our lower limit, which is 52, subtract our range here, the 1.5 IQR, 46.5, we get 5.5. So 17 is still our lower extreme because it's greater than 5.5. Let's calculate our upper limit. So we take our upper quartile there, 83, and we add our limit, 46.5, and we get 129.5. Oh, but look, this is greater than our upper limit. Therefore, this 130 is an outlier. Does the dataset have any outliers? If so, which numbers? All right, so our median here is 21. Our lower quartile is 15, and our upper quartile is 29. So our IQR equals 29 minus 15, which equals 14. 1.5 times the IQR equals 21. So that we can calculate our lower limit, which is 15 minus 21, which is negative 6. So 13 is not an outlier because it is greater than negative 6. Let's move on to our upper limit. We take our upper quartile, 29, and we add 21, and we get 43, which is over here. 31 is not an outlier because it's less than 43. So we have no outliers here. Does the dataset have any outliers? If so, which numbers? All right, so our median here is the average of 35 and 39, which is 37. Our lower quartile is 32, and our upper quartile is 40. So our IQR equals 40 minus 32, which is 8. 1.5 times the IQR equals 12. 8 times 1.5 is 12. So let's calculate our lower limit. Our lower limit equals 32 minus 12, which is 20. And we see that 25, which is our lower extreme, is above 20, so this is not an outlier. Let's calculate our upper limit. 40 plus 12 gives us 52, which is way over here, and 41 is below 52, so there's not an outlier there either. So this one has no outliers.